Perched in the musty confines of a Victorian house in Appaloosa Plains lives Hetty Lionheart, an elderly woman whose love for her feline companions defines her existence. With her 4 cats, she keeps to herself, far removed from the neighbours who dub her the crazy cat lady. Once a scientist, now a recluse, Hetty's eccentricity and affinity for dramatic rants make her the subject of town gossip and avoidance. But is there more to her story than meets the eye? Hello everyone, and welcome to The Sims Lore. Today we're exploring the mysterious and eccentric life of Hetty Lionheart. Behind the closed doors of her old Victorian home lies a story of love, loss, and an unyielding bond with her cats. From her colourful leopard print hat to her strained relationship with the townsfolk, Hetty's life is as intriguing as it is peculiar. So grab your snacks, let me know what you're having in that snack report, and don't forget to subscribe and like this if you enjoyed it. Alright, let's get straight into the video. Firstly, we'll look at the household as a whole. The townsfolk give Miss Lionheart a wide berth should they see her approaching. Not that there's a problem with her that anyone can pinpoint per se, but she is a little, shall we say, eccentric. With her colourful leopard print hat and garish feline apron, the local teens have dubbed her Old Kitty, a name she'd no doubt give them a good drubbing for should it ever be said to her face. As the last remaining member of her family, she lives out her days with her 4 cats, and that's just the way she likes things. The household is made up of Hetty and her 4 cats, Mothball, Muffin, Pickles, and Maria. She has a total of 488 simoleons in household funds. Hetty lives at number 6 Floodplain Lane in a house called Brookside, whose description reads, "Set somewhat apart from its neighbours, this once elegant Victorian graces the river's edge with a haunting reminder of days gone by. If you plan to restore this home, beware of feline vengeance and musk." That description is somewhat accurate, because as you click onto it, you see a whole lot of that musk it was describing. The house itself is a Victorian-style structure that gives off an eerie, mysterious vibe. It is a multi-storey building with intricate architectural details that give it a unique and somewhat foreboding presence as well. The whole structure is incredibly weathered and dirty looking. The house has a steeply pitched roof with multiple gables, including a striking central tower topped with a decorative iron railing, definitely giving off strong Victorian vibes. The exterior is covered in weathered wooden siding, painted in muted earthy tones, though the paint is peeling in places, which is exposing the raw wood underneath. The windows are tall and narrow, classic Victorian style, with wooden shutters and intricate decorative trim. The paint on them has seen better days. The central tower has a few windows with tiny balconies, complete with ornate iron railings, while a small slanted roof porch sits at the front. The porch itself looks like a time capsule of forgotten things, cluttered with various objects, including an old armchair that's clearly past its prime. An elaborate wrought iron fence with pointed finials surrounds the front yard, which is wildly overgrown with tall grass, weeds, and plants, making the whole place feel abandoned. Around the back, there's a large pond teeming with fish, a dream come true for any cat lover. Nearby, there is a cat play area designed like a miniature castle, the ultimate playground for her feline friends. Better than most people's childhood play areas anyway. Inside, Hetty's home is just as musty as the outside. The decor is interesting to say the least. We are immediately met with hexagonal tile flooring and a murky shade of green and grey, setting the tone for the rest of the house. The walls are covered in dark, textured wallpaper with intricate patterns. Against one wall sits a small stone-tiered water fountain, and next to it a giant stuffed fish toy. And then, as if things weren't already peculiar, hanging on the wall is a painting heavily inspired by the Nyan cat. Who remembers the Nyan cat? No? Just me? Okay, I feel pretty old now. Moving into the living area, things only get stranger. The space is cluttered with a bizarre mix of furniture. A musty old sofa, an ancient TV, a cat scratch post, a standing mirror, a toy box for pets, and of all things, a bed, just sitting in the middle of the room. Because why not? Did Hetty have someone else living with her though? That's a bit strange. Then you look at the windows and you see the curtains. They are definitely a statement, to put it nicely. Bold purple and pink clashing with everything else. On the opposite side of the room, a foosball table, a cat calendar, more of those unforgettable curtains, and a random stone statue. And then there's the kitchen, where things somehow get even weirder. As you step in, you'll find a table with a single chair, a jar of cooking utensils, and 2 empty pet bowls. That's not the strange part though. Hanging oddly low on the wall is a painting of a cat standing in a field of flowers, and then right next to it sits a high chair. Hold on, wait a minute. Did Hetty have a child? Is this what her household bio means when it says she's the last remaining member of her family? Or is there a less sinister explanation? Like maybe she just prefers to feed her cats in a high chair? Given the fact that there's an outdoor grill in the kitchen but no fridge, it's also entirely possible that she just collects old musty junk for the aesthetic. This could also mean she just has a spare bed that she collected as well, right? The bathroom is just as you expect. And then finally, we reach the bedroom, where Hetty's cat obsession truly comes to life. The walls are covered in garish blue wallpaper featuring cats playing, while the bed is decked out with cat print sheets. Beside it, there's a side table with a red lamp, a pink animal print guitar, a cat bed, and some shelving. On the other side, she has an easel, a desk with yet another red lamp, and a cat condo. But then, something strange. Sitting atop the dresser at the far end of the room is an urn. Whose is it? What secrets does Hetty Lionheart's house really hold? So who is she? Hetty Lionheart is a retired elderly sim, and from looking at her household bio and her house, she dedicates her life to her 4 beloved cats. Her bio reads as follows. Crazy cat lady is never a term Hetty would consider, but there's nothing healthy about living in denial. Maybe crazy is a bit of a stretch, but eccentric is certainly spot on. She lives as a recluse in her musty old Victorian home, as far from her neighbours as she can possibly get. Townsfolk give her a wide berth, as nobody looks forward to one of her hyperbolic rants on modern society. Perhaps it's best that she sticks to her cats after all. Hello everyone, this is actually editing MissEllie speaking. I just realised birth is misspelled as birth in her bio. With the spare bed and the high chair, I really don't think that's a coincidence anymore. I really believe Hetty had a child and something sinister must have happened. Also, berth means space for a vessel to maneuver, like sea room. Meaning, did her child drown? Is that who's in the urn? Stay tuned to find out. So from both the household bio and her own bio, we know that she's considered a bit eccentric by the townsfolk due to her reclusive lifestyle and obsession with her cats. This has earned her a notorious reputation amongst her neighbours, as she is referred to around town as the old kitty or the crazy cat lady. Hetty is often avoided by townsfolk who fear her hyperbolic rants and eccentric behaviour. Despite these negative perceptions, Hetty finds solace in the company of her cats, preferring their companionship over human sims. Hetty definitely looks like her bio describes her to be. She has cat-like facial features with slightly upturned bright yellow eyes, high sharp cheekbones and pointed chin. Let's face it, and no shade to her, but she's giving Uncanny Valley. She is dressed in a quirky, disheveled outfit featuring a blue top, patterned cat-themed apron, and grey tights. Her footwear looks old and worn, and she has a green knitted cap with bear-like ears. Hetty has the following traits. She is insane, a loner, hydrophobic, a cat person, and is evil. Her favourites are kids' music, fish and chips, and the colour orange. She has 1 skill point in charisma, and she's retired from the science career where she used to be a test subject. In her inventory, you can find her high school diploma, a digital camera, an umbrella, and the book Beauty and the Bot. She is best friends with Maria and Muffin, and friends with Pickles. She is distant friends with Esme and Tate Curley, and is disliked by pretty much everyone else in town, ever. But hold on, Hetty seems to have an enemy. a sim by the name of Vera Blackburn. If you thought there was a lot going on with the contents of the house, there's even more drama with the pets. Hetty's 4 cats, Muffin, Pickles, Mothball, and Maria, each have their own quirks, relationships, and rivalries. Muffin is the least favoured cat in the family, sitting at the bottom of the household hierarchy. He is best friends with Pickles, the dominant leader, but is enemies with both Mothball and Maria. Despite being Hetty's best friend forever, he is the underdog, well, the undercat of the group. Pickles, a female calico, is the self-proclaimed leader of the Lionheart cats. She expects the others to follow her commands and is Hetty's favourite, even though Hetty technically has a stronger relationship with Maria. She is closer to Muffin than to her own mate, Mothball, and for some reason she dislikes her own daughter Maria. Mothball is a male calico cat. He doesn't like Hetty, is enemies with Muffin, but is best friends with his daughter Maria. Despite not being the official leader, he is seen as the wisest and oldest in the household, even though Pickles is closer to becoming an elder. Maria, the youngest of the group, is best friends with her father Mothball, but is disliked by her mother Pickles, and enemies with Muffin. She's just 3 days away from adulthood, and like the others, she hasn't learned any skills yet. Despite being a house full of cats, there's a lot of tension between them. With Mothball disliking Hetty, Maria being resented by her own mother, and Muffin at the bottom of the pecking order, it's clear that this isn't just a cozy, cat-loving household. The power struggles, favoritism, and feline feuds are strong. In the dimly lit corners of Hetty Lionheart's cluttered bedroom, a single urn sits quietly on the dresser, the only trace of a cat long gone. Ducky, Hetty's mysterious 5th feline, is a name rarely spoken, a presence now reduced to whispers in the wind. Little is known about her. She was an odd-eyed ginger tabby, with one striking green eye and the other a deep amber. Her connection to the other cats? A mystery. No records, no known bonds, just an eerie silence surrounding her past. But one thing is certain, her ghost glows red. In the world of Sims, that means she departed with less than 10,000 lifetime happiness points, a life unfulfilled, a spirit possibly restless. What happened to Ducky? Was her passing a simple tragedy? Or is there something more to Hetty's past than meets the eye? Okay, so let's have a look at Hetty's beef with the townsfolk. For us to do that, we have to briefly dive into some of her enemies and distant friends' lives. There isn't much information on the Curleys, but a few details stand out. Tate is a retired city council member and his wife is a cat lover, which is one of the few things she and Hetty might have in common. However, unlike Hetty, neither of them have an evil streak, which could have caused friction between them, especially if Hetty's behaviour was a little too much for them to handle. Their house, while not exactly spotless, has a certain level of neglect similar to Hetty's, though it's nowhere near as run down as her musty Victorian home. Still, they clearly don't mind a bit of clutter. One of the most interesting things about them is their land. Tate refuses to sell it to businessmen or politicians, insisting it remains as it always has, predating the town's shops and restaurants. This can be clearly seen in the location of the house. It's pretty much smack bang in the middle of the town. Given that they don't have any children, it raises the question, what will happen to the land once they're gone? Could this tie into a deeper connection, or even conflict, with Hetty? Vera Blackburn is a pre-made playable sim residing in the town of Appaloosa Plains, sharing her home with her 2 dogs, Ginger and Walter. Vera has a good relationship with Walter, a loyal and obedient companion, but her bond with Ginger is strained, reflecting Ginger's more unruly nature. Vera works in the military career, and this definitely reflects her personality as she runs a mini dog school where she trains rowdy young pups, just like Ginger, into well-behaved ones. What interests us about Vera today is her relationship with the one and only Hetty Lionheart, which is anything but friendly. Their mutual hatred of each other is likely fueled by their contrasting affections. Vera's organised and strict life is the opposite of Hetty's chaotic and cat-filled world. So let's have a look at why Hetty is the recipient of so much hate. With all of the information we compiled, it's safe to say that there are a few theories that make sense. Vera Blackburn is Hetty's known enemy, and she's a dog lover with a strict, disciplined approach to raising animals. Their mutual hatred could stem from an old dispute. Perhaps Vera accused Hetty of being an irresponsible pet owner, or maybe one of Hetty's cats did something to Vera's dogs. This also poses the question, did Ducky have an unfortunate run-in with Vera's military-trained pups? If so, that would have cemented the animosity between them. Hetty once worked in the science career, but retired at the lowest rank. This suggests something went wrong. Did she leave due to a scandal? Was she conducting experiments that others found unethical? Maybe the townsfolk believed she was testing on animals, adding to their distaste for her. And furthermore, perhaps that's how Ducky met his demise. Now, it does seem that Hetty loves her cats. However, she is evil, so who's to say she didn't take preference for one cat over another? Hetty lives in a run-down Victorian house, often associated with haunted or eerie vibes. The townsfolk avoid her yard, fearing what she might do. Given her cat-like facial features, peculiar attire, and eccentric behaviour, she might have just been subject to wild rumours. Anything from being a witch to cursing people who cross her. Small towns can be particularly harsh to outsiders, and her refusal to engage with society could make things worse. Tate Curley is a retired city council member who refuses to sell his land to businessmen and politicians. As one of Hetty's only 2 acquaintances, it's possible she was involved in town politics at some point. Did she have a role in some town scandal? Did she fight against progress, leading the townsfolk to see her as a bitter obstructionist? The other mystery is the death of Hetty's cat, Ducky. Let's have a look at some theories. Given Vera's military background and her strained relationship with one of her own dogs, it's possible one of them attacked Ducky. If Hetty ever let her cats roam, or if Ducky somehow wandered onto Vera's property, an altercation might have occurred. This would deepen the animosity between the 2 women, with Hetty possibly believing Vera did it on purpose. If Hetty was experimenting with something before she left her science job, could Ducky have been involved? Maybe she attempted an unusual treatment or experiment, only for it to go terribly wrong. The guilt of losing Ducky this way could have driven her further into seclusion. Or, like mentioned before, she had a preference for the other cats and wanted to simply experiment on this one. Mothball, one of Hetty's 4 remaining cats, dislikes her. This is strange for a pet that's been raised in a loving, albeit eccentric environment. Could Mothball have played a role in Ducky's demise? Maybe a territorial dispute escalated and Hetty, unable to intervene, lost her beloved pet. This would explain why she still keeps Mothball but has a strained relationship with him. Ducky's disappearance might not have been Hetty's fault at all. Maybe someone in the town poisoned him or caused his demise as an act of malice. This could have been a warning for Hetty to leave town, or it could have been done out of spite by someone who disliked her rants and attitude. After all, she is disliked by pretty much everybody in the town. The back of Hetty's house has a large pond filled with fish, an ideal place for cats to play, but also a possible danger. Did Ducky fall in and drown? Given Hetty's hydrophobic trait, she might have been unable or unwilling to rescue him in time. This would make her grief even worse, as she would blame herself for not saving her beloved pet. Also, the name Ducky is quite interesting for a cat. Could it possibly be a hint at her demise? Of course, in The Sims 3 you can't drown pets, they just simply respawn. So what do you think really happened to Hetty Lionheart and her cat Ducky? Was Ducky a tragic victim of Vera Blackburn's strict dog training methods? Did a scientific experiment go terribly wrong, leaving Hetty haunted by her own past? Or was there something even darker at play? Perhaps a town secret no one dares to speak about? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Alright guys, there you have it, all about Hetty Lionheart and her tragic tale. Get it? Tale? Okay. I would like to thank my Sul channel members, MissEllie. Thank you so much for your support. I would also like to thank my patrons, Negative Dana, Artsy Flashback, ML, Adele Isted, Jolina Lini, and Treats for Chewy. Thank you all so much for supporting my channel. That's it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like the video if you enjoyed it and let me know your theories in the comments below. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram for more lore and updates. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!